Welcome, YouTubers, to another Boku no Hero Academy episode review slash discussion slash reaction. Cause holy snap, episode 11, game over. Now this episode was just full of a roller coaster of emotions. Now the reason I'm particularly saying it's full of emotions is because of the fact that this whole entire episode was divided into three different segments. Now the first segment was divided in the fact that the episodes kind of showing the surrounding environment, you could say. They were showing all the teenagers while they were fighting all the other villains and how they were actually coping with it. And to be honest, a lot of the students were actually coping with it very well. From the looks of it, only Mineta was the only one that was not coping well with the situation at hand. All the other students were just like battle ready. They're just saying, you know what? Forget, the school rules, man. We gotta defend our lives here. Like the only reason I feel like Mineta's probably was the only one that was overreacting to the situation was because of the fact that I'm guessing because he's the only one that his quirk is not really, I would say, a battle friendly quirk as from what we witnessed. But that other than that, all the other students were very much in tune with their surroundings and they were just, you know what, they were ready to fight. Especially love the fact that when they showed Denki's quirk, holy snap, man, this guy's quirk was amazing. Like his quirk is electrocution. Like the way I saw it, it was more like he's just a human battery. That's the way it is. He wasn't kind of like NL where he can just like control the electricity. No, probably because of the fact that he's young and inexperienced. Maybe that's why he could only just kind of short circuit everything all around him. But other than that, Denki's quirk was like I thought it kind of shined out onto me on after this, and I love the fact that when they showed Denki, he was used as a, I would say, a comical spoof or kind of like a comical stress reliever. The fact that his famous lines throughout the whole entire episode just say, "Oh yeah, I'm strong now. I'm strong now. Check me out, ladies." Just the way that he was just representing himself against all the villains kind of shows them more of the fact that he's actually a dangerous guy. When he puts his mind to it, this guy's a very dangerous guy. But I don't want to digress too much from the story with just Denki alone. No, all the other characters were actually putting on some very good shows. They actually showed Jiro's quirk with her, I would say, like amplification, like for sound, you could say, or her earphone jack quirk, you could say, where like it literally amplifies the sound and it showcases that this woman's also a very, like, all the women in this series, they're actually very dangerous. Like, holy snap, you love every single character in this series. That's what the thing I like about this Boku no Hero Academy is that you're gonna fall in love with every single character, no matter if their quirks are tiny or if their quirks are just like inexcusable. It's just that the fact that the way that the author uses every single one of everybody's quirks is just lovable. I swear they even showed Kirishima's quirk later on in the episode, where his quirk is just hardening, and he was taking down multiple villains with Katsuki. And when they showed that scene too as well, it showed like a very friendly, not want to say rivalry. Actually, Kirishima is actually looking up to Katsuki, which is very hilarious because of the fact that Katsuki is shown more of a brash and very outgoing, I could say, outgoing and just like level. Like in this episode, they kind of showed him level-headed, which I kind of like that about Katsuki in this episode. He was very level-headed. He wasn't calm, but it looked like he was in control. When he's actually fighting against for something that's like villains, and just somewhere he has to protect for his friends. He actually very looked like he was very much in control, and that's what I like about him in this episode. Just wow. I was actually surprised at Katsuki. Katsuki's character progression is really going so well. I love the fact that the author also showed with Katsuki is the fact that his reflexes are really good. He actually took down an opponent that was invisible and just took him down, and you're just wondering like, holy snap, what is this guy? What has this guy been doing, man? This guy been training in the dark or something, like Batman status? Holy snap! But moving along the line, that was part one of the episode. Like I said, this episode was divided in three segments, and part one was just showing everyone's how they were reacting to the whole environment. In part two, we actually get to see Aizawa fighting off against the villains, but this time he was fighting more along the case of the villains that were very much important to this whole arc. And he was fighting, if I remember correctly, Tobara Shigaraki. They actually finally showed, like, he was actually moving along inside this like little arc, and he actually was shown to be very dangerous. Like the way he was handling Aizawa. Aizawa, like from all the previous episodes that we've seen, Aizawa has been shown to be a very powerful opponent, regardless of his quirk of erasing everybody's. Tomura just manhandled him. Like he was just going at it. He like I said, this episode was actually also dark in itself because of the fact that they were showing a lot of explicit, not explicit scenes, but like very, very gruesome scenes where they showed Aizawa's hand like just bleeding and like just oh man, like I'm sorry, but this episode you actually see Aizawa very much in pain, and it was hard for me to see this, to be honest, because of the fact that Aizawa was one of my favorite teachers in the UA Academy, and holy snap, I when I saw this guy just getting taken down, ah, it was it was very hurtful eye candy right there. Sorry, Aizawa. Ugh, you're still my pride and concern right there, but damn. I love the fact that they actually showcased also with Aizawa was the fact that even at the brink of his near death, he was still shown to be a very, very respectable opponent, you could say, because even Tomuro actually recognized him and said, "You know what? You're so like." He was mocking him, but you could tell that Tomuro was respecting this guy because the fact that when Tomuro was actually going to attack the kids, Aizawa was regard even when he was still taken down and being held down by Nemu, he was actually using his quirk to save the students at the same time while he was being just brought down to the floor, his arms dismembered, and oh man, still a badass scene right there. Very explicit too at the same fact. I gotta keep saying that over and over again because of the fact that they showed a lot of blood in this episode. It wasn't just like a regular, oh, a little small little nosebleed, eye bleed, a little scratch. No, like they showed Aizawa like dropping pools of blood in this episode. And that's why like this episode, like I said, was pretty dark in itself because of Aizawa. Like I'm assuming that the kids and I were gonna really showcase any dark themes with them probably later on in the series. But with this episode, it was more along the line showing Aizawa's the little scene right there. And Aizawa's scene was, I feel like that was the most impactful part of this whole episode, with him facing off against Nemu and Tomuro, was because of the fact that holy snap, man, Aizawa, man, this guy's like gonna be in cripples. Holy snap! The way that they showcased this was just amazing. They left every detail down right there. You gotta love the studio that's animating this series. They did this episode very, very well, and the pacing for this episode was very, very well as well. And we're also introduced to the character Nomu, and the character Nomu, like, to me, he looks like just a platypus on steroids. That's the way that he looks like to me now. When you read it in the manga, he looks all badass. He just like, he does. I feel like he has a different vibe when you see him animated. That's the way I saw it when I was watching this anime today, and the way when I saw it, just Nomu just looks like a platypus on steroids. That's just it. That's just it. I'm sorry, folks, but that's just hilarious to me that when he was taking down Aizawa, I'm just like, man, Aizawa like getting taken down by like a brutal animal. And that's the thing too. Nomu is just literally, he is just an animal that has no speech, no nothing. He's just the one. He like you could tell that he just thinks on his senses too, because the same fact that is showcased in the episode where Deku actually used his smash against him, and the instant that he used it against Tomura, you could tell that Tomura is like that's his bodyguard there. Nomu's his bodyguard. The minute he used it, Tomura was right there and just like sealed it off like the whole attack, and you're here wondering like, holy snap, this monster is destructive in itself. Its body is destructive too. They showcased how strong this creature is, and even Aizo was trying to use his quirk, and the quirk didn't even phase in. Like you tell, it's just pure physical strength manifested in that body of that creature, and that creature just means dangerous. It means it's a lethal threat to All Might. You could tell this creature is the ultimate success to defeating All Might, and that's what they were kind of showcasing and kind of enveloping around this character Nemu, was the fact that it's just the embodiment of evil, an evil abomination. That's what it literally looked like to me. Like, wow. And like I said, I love it, the fact how the studio is working with the themes here. And I love the fact that the viewers are gonna be left in their seats while watching this episode as well. You know, you're watching this and you're gonna be holding your breath. You're gonna be gasping. You're gonna be like wondering, oh, what's next? What's next? And I love the fact how they're pacing this episode. The music just goes along with it as well. You know, like of course the episode is not like the music is not very pumped up. It's just very, I would say it flows. It just flows with the episode. And last but not least, we have the part 3 of the segment was the fact that where Tenya, I'm sorry, I probably might have like jumped it all around. This is probably like the second part. Aizawa versus Nemu probably might have been the last third segment of the episode, but I'm gonna still say it either way. The last segment of this episode was Tenya Lita's escape from I think it was trying to remember. It's the guy that like create portals. I'm trying to remember his name. Trying to remember. Tomuro explained it in the episode of what his name was. Oh, it was. Give me a second, guys. Trying to remember his name. Kurogiri. Yes, there we go. It was Kurogiri. And when they were showcasing that, it was very. How do I say? You were on the brink of your toes, and you were kind of hoping Tenya Lita was escaping from this creature. I'm sorry, not creature, from this person. Because Kurogiri is actually a person. He's not really a creature. Nomu actually is a creature. And with Kurogiri's little fight scene right there, I like the fact that they kind of implemented it in this episode as well. Because of the fact that when they showcased Kurogiri fighting against the students, he actually took down the teacher 13. And 13, Kurogiri kind of like went off against he kind of broke the fourth wall. By the way, they kind of break the fourth wall a couple times in this episode. Tomuro breaks it, but when Kurogiri breaks it, it's kind of hilarious that like he kind of showcased that that the teacher 13 doesn't really have. He has a very strong quirk ability. Let's just put it that way. He has a strong quirk ability, but it's just not battle friendly. That's what he was kind of explaining. And when I saw this, I'm here thinking, wow, it's kind of true that you have this awesome ability, yet you can't use it in battle, or you can't use it effectively as how it really should be meant. And it kind of goes pretty much sad because the way that the 13 kind of uses the ability is more like a trash dispenser, which it's kind of sad. That ability that he has, the black hole ability, it's very destructive, and yet it's fundamentally being, how do I say, liberated with, not liberated, but it's very fundamentally I would say confined to that person. Like its ability should be able to should be limitless with that one. But Kurogiri kind of explained that and it showcased that 13 is a very weak person when it comes to real life battles. And they actually even showcase how strong the quirk is to the person itself. It kind of reminded me of something off of Inuyasha, where the character that has the black hole in his hand, like it's attacking the same person. And I like the fact that when Kurogiri kind of like backtracked that episode, I mean not that episode, that attack back at 13, it just really kind of shocked me because I'm like, wow, that was a very quick fight right there in itself. And Kurogiri, holy snap, this guy he seems like a very formidable opponent. This guy knows how to take down multiple people. He's very calm and in control as well. Because when he was taking down the students, you can tell this guy, he's very level-headed in a sense. Out of all the villains so far, that he looks to me like he's the evil mastermind instead of Tomura. Like he looks like he should be the one leading instead of actually following under Tomura. But I'm guessing because Tomura is more, I would say, like an open-minded more person, I could say, or like the way that he's kind of showcased himself, he's just more psychopathic as you can kind of clearly see. Probably that's why he's kind of like the leader. But Kurogiri, man, kind of loving this villain right here. Like I said, the author's kind of making the villains look really, really, really lovable. Like Kurogiri, man, you're becoming one of my favorite villains. That's what I'm seeing. I'm hoping that we get to see more of this guy, or at least a backstory for this character. I wonder how he manifested his quirk. But digressing again from this story, I'm sorry about that, folks. But like I said before, in one of the segments is when Tenya Lita escaped from Kurogiri himself. And when he escaped from Kurogiri, all viewers out there are going to be like, yes, Tenya Lita escaped. Yes, yes. I can't believe it. And, you know, when Tenya Lita escaped, that's what kind of meant the episode itself, game over, because when Kurogiri went back to talk to Tomura, he was saying that, oh, it's game over. Now all the pro heroes are going to come now. And that's what the episode was kind of implying. But when you watch the end of the episode, yes, let's give it a round of applause for the hero All Might. He is actually in USJ right now as we speak. In the next episode, we're actually going to see him now fight against all the major villains. And that's what's kind of sad at the fact is that the authors kind of left us with a tease right there. So that we now know that the whole next episode is basically All Might fighting against the whole next villains. Pretty cool in a sense, which gives us like, you could tell there's going to be no pure filler in these 13 episodes that we're all watching right now. Also, you gotta love the fact that when All Might came in, man, he came in with like a wrecking ball, to be honest. Like, he actually made everyone stop in their tracks. And I thought that was kind of hilarious right there in itself. Because he's kind of like, he's still in his work clothes, and you're here wondering, like, oh man, like, this guy's gonna get his hands dirty, like, in the next episode. That's hilarious. I'm sorry. But that's it for this episode. Holy snap. I was enjoyed by the fact this episode. And I love the way they kind of did that in those 3 segments. Like, this whole entire episode could have went along, I would say, it could have spanned for 2 episodes. If it was like, you know, just pure talking and a little bit more action. It could span on 2 episodes, but I love the fact that they kind of did it as 1 episode. And that was pretty intense in itself right there. But lovable episode. I gotta say, this episode 11 was a very enjoyable episode. And I'm giving it a round of applause because of the fact that, wow. Just so much has been happening inside this whole entire episode. But yes. Let me know what you guys think, folks. Sorry for stuttering. Folks, yes, let me know what you guys think about this whole entire episode. I personally enjoyed very much this episode. And if you're going to be watching this whole entire series, this episode is going to be taking the cake right there in itself. But like I said, let me know what you guys think about the episode. What are you guys expecting also in the next episode as well? Since we're going to be, let's see if Tomura is actually going to face off against the hero All Might. What about Nemu? What do you guys think about Nemu? What do you think about his design? What does he remind you of? Like me, he reminds me of just like looks like a platypus or a duck on steroids. But yes, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about this episode. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content on Boku no Hero Academy. But that's all, folks. This is Mr. Zen signing out.